Well, President Trump says he wants to reopen the notorious Alcatraz prison off the coast of California to house America's worst of the worst.
Madeleine Rivera is live in Washington with the details. Good morning, Maddie.
Good morning, guys. The president says he wants to reopen Alcatraz because he's frustrated with judges who have placed roadblocks on parts of his agenda, especially on immigration. The president saying on Truth Social, for too long, America has been plagued by vicious, violent, and repeat criminal offenders, the dregs of society who will never contribute anything other than misery and suffering. That is why today I am directing the Bureau of Prisons together with the Department of Justice, FBI, and Homeland Security to reopen a substantially enlarged and rebuilt Alcatraz to house America's most ruthless and violent offenders. The president was pressed about this when he got back to the White House last night. Here's what he said.
Just an idea I've had, and I guess because the judges, so many of these radicalized judges, they want to have trials for every single, think of it, every single person that's in our country illegally, that came in illegally. That would mean millions of trials, and it's just so ridiculous what's happening. And it's long been a symbol, Alcatraz. It's a symbol of law and order.
Alcatraz was used as a maximum security federal prison for nearly 30 years. It housed several well-known criminals, including Al Capone and George Machine Gun Kelly. The prison was closed in 1963 because it became too expensive to operate. Now it's a popular tourist destination with more than 1 million visitors per year. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi calls the president's proposal not a serious one. But is it even possible for Alcatraz to lose its designation as a historical landmark? Per the National Park Service's website, a property's historical designation can be considered for withdrawal at the request of the owner or the Interior Secretary, provided some criteria are met. Lawrence Ainsley and Brian.
All right. Thank you so much, Maddie.
Thanks, Maddie.
He was talking about prices going down. He said grocery prices are down for oil, energy prices are down. For gas prices, gasoline is 1,000 times more important than a stroller, because Kristen Welker said, well, stroller prices are down. He's like basically saying, are you crazy? You're focused on that and not the big picture of prices going down.
I kind of feel that way about him talking about reopening Alcatraz. Obviously, you can't reopen it. It's a museum and all that. But I do think he's highlighting the bigger picture, which is we got criminals roaming the street, Americans and non-Americans. When he said that he was considering deporting or housing Americans, he wanted the Department of Justice to look at it is to see if we can send them to Venezuela. They complained about that. And now he's saying that he wants to reopen a prison or potentially build a new prison, and they don't like that as well. But I think it's the spirit of the conversation.
It's just so funny because San Francisco doesn't want to arrest anyone, and that's why they'll rebuild Alcatraz. But hey, let's find out. Let's get a price on it. Right. It's a perfect place. You try to escape. We watched the movie. You get eaten by sharks. Right. So let's see how much it costs to spackle it up, maybe get a playground in there. We'll see what goes on. You know, a little shuttle so families can go visit the worst of the worst.
That's right.
And his message, his point was, back then, we used to lock up the most dangerous criminals. Right. We kept them away from everybody without hesitation. And it's really been over the last just few decades, I would say, maybe just the last decade, where you have all these Democrats that seem to be more concerned with the criminal than the victim.
That's right. They wanted to reimagine our criminal justice system, and the criminals start running our streets. They demonize the police. We have record low law enforcement, and now they're making a comeback. And now we got all these criminals that we got to pick up off the street.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.